Hey guys, welcome to the video, and welcome to the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe Edition. Now, I did play the original game here a couple years ago, but and it asked me about that when I loaded this up. It asked what the current time is, and if I'd played the original. So I just set that up. Yeah, I've been wanting to play this since it got announced. I forgot about it. Didn't realize until today that it came out, so I went and bought it. But yeah, let's get to it. I'm going to try to get a few of the endings done, at least in this video. I might make it 2 or 3 videos. I don't know. It all depends. The end is never the end, 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 is never the end. Is never the end, is never the end.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
It's probably because Michael left the oven on and burnt his house down. Now, I think for the first thing we're going to comply with the narrator.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I can go in so many circles.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Yep, I think Michael might have nuked the office. I mean, I'm not very superstitious, but I'm a little suspicious. You can turn off computers for some reason. Don't know what that did. Let's see here. 8 Mondays.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Ah. Let's see here. Can't get in there. There's a leaf. Open up. Housekeeping.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
How to solve a dispute with a coworker. Let it ball up inside you. Take it out passive-aggressively on other coworkers. Oh, I didn't read that. Using slides to assure employees that everything will be okay. Make sure your slide has a slick blue graphic in the header, and throw some bevel. Everyone is unique. You most of all. Is that all of it? Number of slides on the slide. Slide charts. Charts and slides. which charts on the same slide depict the same information. Okay, this is... I'm just gonna... please, no more charts and pink stuff. The boss appreciation, man. Stop, please, I'm begging. Stop. I don't like this. What is this? This is weird, I don't like it. Legal? Okay, we're just gonna continue on before more charts stop. Hello?
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
But there's duct tape. I can't jump.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
What's this? I can't open that door. So, we need to go upstairs? The executive bathroom. I've got a feeling money's for stealing. Not yours, of course. So that's a lovely purse. It sounds like Discount Black Bart. Extreme bathrooms. Okay, we're gonna go this way. Can't mess with the computer. I guess we'll go into the boss's office.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him, and so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Thanks, God.
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
I was wanting to hear some Buster Scruggs music. Should I be scared? Okay, we're going. We are going. Loading. It is very much loading, very rapidly, and a very
Descending
rapid pace.
deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Okay, we're just gonna go this way.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
But we could... Like, there's this weird word, escape. We'll save the escape ending for later. Button.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
It's like the room from Incredibles. Just a whole bunch of TV screens instead of one big one. USB. Hello? Camera? Employee observation protocol. I can't read any of what this stuff says. We're just gonna...
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed.
Fired!
Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Stanley was 427. No, I left. Yeah, they can't monitor me when I'm the one doing the monitoring. Ha Button.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
They call me Stanford.
No,
Away.
he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof, the heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
I saw a button up there I want to push. 5. What happens if I push these? I'm just gonna go ahead this way. We'll come back and investigate that. System power.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
Awesome. Sammy Hagar likes Blavano peppers.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes! He had won! He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved.
We have succeeded.
Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
What if I don't? Okay.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Stanley was happy. Achievement unlocked. Beat the game. You know what? The next one, we're going to annoy the narrator a whole bunch. The end is never the end, is never the end, is never the end, is never the end, is never the end. Actually, what happens if I just...
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go any way except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be happy forever.
I
will be
close
happy.
the door and win?
Stanley waited. Hours passed, then days. Had years gone by? He no longer had the ability to tell. But the one thing he knew for sure, beyond any doubt, was that if he waited long enough, the answers would come. Eventually, someday, they would arrive. Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told what to do. Now it's just a little bit closer. Now it's even closer. Here it comes.
The end is never the end, is never the end. Of course. Okay, we're just gonna...
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
I'm gonna turn off all the computers again because screw whoever's working on what? And this time we're gonna turn right and go through this door.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Yes, I would love to admire the employee lounge. Employee lounge is great.
Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
I guarantee that if I was here, I'd trip over this at least once a day.
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth.
I can't get in the chair. Dang it. I was gonna just crouch.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
That was great. I love that room. Beautiful room.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Let's see. No? I think I'm going to drop down onto that door, onto that platform.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not.
Yes, you
I
are.
realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about.
No.
What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
No. We're going through the blue door.
Aha. Perhaps you misunderstood.
Blue.
Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly.
Blue door.
Stanley? All right, fine. Go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted?
Yes.
Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you?
Yes.
Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing, because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far.
What does what
Tell you
growing
what,
more feel like?
let me take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin.
No, we're gonna listen to him. We'll take the third option.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here.
You know what? We'll give him a 3.
Oh, of course. A 3. Really? Maybe next time we can get you to form an actual opinion, you know? Any level of critical thinking or engagement with your surroundings? Does that sound good? Think we can do that? Yes? Wonderful. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
Ah, there's a leaderboard now. Let's see here. Ah, I see how it is. You know what? I'm getting a high score.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again,
Yes.
honest answers, please.
Yes.
Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some play testing. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up.
I remember this part.
In this
baby
game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience.
I love this game. It's the best game I've ever played. This is like Red Dead Redemption 5. Jack Marston, stop. This is like Jack Marston can run so fast in that fishing mission. Too bad I never really liked Jack as a character in the first one.
You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out, I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain. Let's see. What do we have here? Yes,
Updated
this
this part.
seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
Oh, God. I hope this is one of the parts they updated. I want to say they added stuff. The end is never the end, is never the end, is never the end, is loading is never the end. Oh, it's Firewatch!
Aha! Fascinating. What do you think this game is about, Stanley? What's our backstory? What is our motivation?
This is actually cool. I
Well,
like
it seems
this.
obvious to me that you are meant to play as a creepy man spying on innocent civilians below you from up high in your creep tower, perhaps for some sort of twisted erotic purpose. Yes, that must be it. What a fascinating venture into the experience of total mental depravity. So far, I love everything about this game, Stanley. And it seems there's even more. Come, let's venture outward and see what else is out there.
I won't lie. I wanted to play Firewatch for a while, but I didn't expect them to make a reference to Firewatch in this. I think in the original one it was like Minecraft or something. God,
Oh, no.
this is great.
No, it can't be.
It can't be. I wonder if Forrest Burns is around here.
It is. It's an open world game. Good God, quickly block it off.
No!
Oh, thank goodness, Stanley. What a close call. You nearly wandered off into that thing. That big, open, just wandering around. No right or wrong directions. No path to follow. You can just go in any... Oh, thank heavens we avoided it. We're out of the woods now, Stanley. Okay, I'm going to get us out of here. Let's find another game. Preferably something with walls. Something with nice, big, insurmountable walls.
Chivalry 2!
Okay, I think this will be just the thing.
One of them's gonna be Sea of Thieves, I feel like. I wouldn't be surprised. What?
Wonderful. See, this is exactly what I had in mind. Just a nice big box for you to run around in. There isn't any possibility that you could get lost here. Now this is game design. Stanley, if you manage to get lost in this game, I will be phenomenally impressed.
Where's the cars?
Okay, so what exactly do we do here? Let's see. There are lots of cars here in the back, but obviously there's no racetrack. Okay, I'm seeing that there's a ball of some kind back here. Is this game sports ball? Stanley, I think it's sports ball. Oh, what fun.
Wait.
We shall run the bases and do a touchdown together? Yes, I think surely we must. Okay, Stanley, here's the ball. Have fun.
He's gonna let me play Rocket League. Okay, let's win. Go, go. Oh, we Speedy. Speedy Stanley. Yeah.
Are you doing it? Are you winning? Is this fun? Is it better than my miserable little story that I worked so hard on?
Yes.
Stanley, I have a thought. And I realize I'm not a sportsologist, but if one ball generates a certain amount of raw adrenal pleasure, then surely multiple balls makes for an even more euphoric sports experience. I'm going to try it out. Here comes another ball.
I want to go in.
Yes.
Go.
Oh, goodness, that really does feel amazing, doesn't it? Stanley, I'm like a child in a confectionery shop. I simply have to have more. I'm insatiable.
He wants more
More
balls.
balls.
What is going on? I am so glad that I decided to play this game. Come on. I win multiple times.
Are you enjoying this, Stanley? Are you having fun? Is this a real video game? Well, I sure hope you're having a good time.
Oh,
Hold
God.
on. What are you doing?
I fell in the pit. So let's see. We've done Firewatch. We've done Rocket League. What is next? Oh.
Stanley, don't do that. I can't follow you there. I can't help you. How will you write a story without me? You can't do it. You know that. Stanley, come.
I don't know what to do. That's another gap to fall down into. Can we go through the door? Oh, God. I don't like this. This is Gmod. Gmod without the walls. Make all the difference in the world. Oh wait, the two doors. Can I get back to the employee lounge? I want to go back to the employee lounge. Let's see, there's the way to go left, so that means that this would be the employee lounge somewheres. Okay, I'm lost. Maybe we can go back to the start. The door on the left. go up to the boss's office? Maybe? I don't know what's going on and I'm scared. Okay, so it looks like our only real choice is to go back to where we started at. Like back to Stanley's office. Let's do that. 4, 2, 3. Aha, there's a light. What the? It's the CIA. Mamma mia. 427. I don't know what's going on. What have I done?
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice, and if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
So, I think we're going to do one more of these. And then I'm going to call it quits for this video. Probably record the next one right after. So it's going to be at least a 2-parter. Also, let me figure out what endings I'm doing. Now, if I remember correctly...
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Now, I think you can actually drop down through this window, and... okay, we'll do another ending.
At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map, until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in? Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how to say this politely, but you could literally just hit escape and restart the game any old time you want. Like, right now. You could have done it just then.
Yes, I could.
Now would also be an appropriate time to quit. Any of these points and so many, many more, all of them are appropriate. I'm enjoying what seems to be an internal conflict going on where you are literally unable to act on your own desires to restart the game. So, just to push the envelope, I'm going to try and make this as miserable as possible and see how long you can maintain.
Okay.
There once was a man named Stanley, who people considered so manly. But the truth must be told, he was not very old and was quite particularly gangly. What Stanley liked most was buttons. He pushed them like some kind of glutton. He did it all day in a meaningful way, but his brain had long ceased to function. Which is why he is in this parable and lives an existence quite terrible. And if you are not strong and keep playing along, you too will become quite unbearable. You too will become quite unbearable.
This is great. I love this. I'm just gonna keep the windows in sight. That's the only thing to look at. I'm convinced if I sit here long enough, he'll do it himself. Yeah, narrator. Oh, okay, I don't think that's gonna do anything unless I'm just gonna click this. You guys let me know in the comments if I missed anything here. I think there's another ending that I want to try to get. I think, yeah, in order to get it, you have to open
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
So you can't open that. Not that, no. The weed number.
Stanley went around touching. Stanley clicked on literally every single door in the office because he doesn't pick up well on cues from his environment.
Correct. I will find the door that opens. New content!
Oh. New content? What does that mean, new content?
New content. New content. Content. Content is new. New content. The end is never the end, it's never the end, it's never the end. It's never the loading, it's never... This is different than I remember.
Hello, and thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. As you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers. After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over.
What?
Please, step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Oh, well, this sounds delightful. I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content.
Same. Like Firewatch for some reason.
Okay, so far it's an elevator. Nothing special yet, but I'm sure it's just the beginning of a mesmerizing adventure.
Let's see the Ultra Deluxe content.
Is it broken? What's going on here? Should we be moving somewhere or... Oh, there we go. All right, finally, at long last, it's on to the new content. I've never been more ready. Let's do it.
Must be like Skyrim's frig or something. Hey, you're finally awake. Wait, what?
I have to say, initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious. It's as if Oh, okay. Let's see the content. Give me the content, Stanley.
Yeah, no content. The jump circle.
All right, let's see. It's the jump circle.
Do I get jumps? Ah! Ah! Yes, 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 yes. Yes, yes, yes. I can jump. Yes, this is what the game needed. There's a jump button. This is great. Best game of the year 2022. Ah.
Is that it? Surely that's not all the new content. There has to be something else, right? Goodness. Another elevator. Stanley, I have to say, initial impressions of this game are not positive. It's just elevators and jumping. Is this what passes for exciting new content? If this is new content, then I could just read you the whole dictionary. There's 20 hours of new content right there. Hell, I could counter 30 trillion. You could put that on the box. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, now with over 1,000 hours of new content. And oh, wait. There's more.
More new content.
Very good. Yes. I knew there had to be something else.
What?
Let's see it. I'm ready for whatever it is.
hopefully. What's this? Thank you for enjoying the new content.
That's it? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. You see, Stanley? This is what happens when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar. And don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's achievements, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test achievement, please ignore." What quality assurance department signed off on this? I'm infuriated and I'm offended, and I intend to find these people on Twitter and hold them personally accountable. It's my fault, Stanley. I built up too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid. It could never have lived up to such expectations. If you're still with me, why don't we just reset the game and we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about. No frills, no gimmicks. Just you and me having a great time together like always. What do you say, friend?
No. What? Wait a minute, something's up here. Margaret, get the biscuits. There's newfangled stuff going on in here. The picture of the office. Where's the narrator? Where's narrator?
Psst! Stanley! Come over here! In the vent! I want to show you something!
Okay. Coffee nut. Okay, I'm in the vent. This vent is never the end, it's never the end, it's never the end, it's never the end. The end is loading. Never. It's never the end, never the end, it's never the end, it's never the end. ¿Qué pasa? I'm very puzzled. Should I be so confused about these? I feel as though I have every
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well, it got me thinking about the past and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be. So I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it. Just our little secret. Take a look.
Okay. Well, check out the new content. I'll just drop down here. Ooh. Is that the new content? I don't know. I don't get the reference. If this is a reference to anything.
I call it the Memory Zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC.
It's really tranquil. It's like the Animus almost. 2013, the Stanley Parable was released. A very sweet memory.
You see, Stanley, doesn't the Memory Zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap re-release? Remember back in October of 2013, when the game originally launched? Back then, video games had integrity. Back then, it all meant something. Oh, the waste.
The British Academy of Film and Television Arts awarded to The Last of Us. I mean, Stanley Parable. Can you open this door over here? Oh yeah, door does nothing. What does it say? Greatest wealth is memory. Okay, we're gonna go through this door. I don't think the Stanley Parable ever made an album. Unless it's supposed to be a video game cover. Oh yeah, this is starting to get annoying. outside. Unachievable. Don't play for 5 years. I think this game has one that's don't play for 10 years. That was interesting. What's in here? Oh, this is nice.
And over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this stunning triumph of games journalism, 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com. James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote, "Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created." Did you hear that, Stanley? Every game ever created. That's how grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was. It was literally every game ever created. It was Skyrim. It was Persona 3. It was all of them. And now, it's nothing. It's no games at all. It isn't even the Stanley Parable anymore. It's just a husk now. A lifeless husk with an hour of new elevator content.
New elevator content. The best content. What's down here? So you can't open maintenance. Okay. Ah, this is nice. They got all the buttons up there. I assume it's supposed to be Stanley. Stanley has a face. New room. Ooh, that's a nice car. I like that. Can't open that door, of course. The end is never the end, of course.
Here's another moving passage, this time from GameSpot.com. The Stanley Parable is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of choice in games and one that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising, and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game was perfect. It didn't need anything else. It didn't need new content. It just needed to be left alone, to spend the rest of time collecting dust in the hallowed hall of beloved video game memories.
This is oddly wholesome. Oh, new door. The Serious Room. 2013. How do I get in there?
These were simpler times, Stanley.
Maintenance door open?
But I wouldn't give to go back, to have it all over again. Wait,
I'm
hang
going
on.
to delete everything.
I don't recall this part of the memory zone before. What's this? What's down here? Oh, no. Oh, God, no. Stanley, it's a collection of reviews from Steam, the online video game distributor. I haven't looked at these in years.
Steam reviews,
I can't even
yes.
imagine what's been collecting down here. Surely
it's
these
gonna be
reviews were
terrible.
glowing as well, weren't they? Honestly, I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny, with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. Unfunny! I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art. I suppose I could write up a handful of gags to insert into the Stanley Parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them.
Why is there actually just a part of Steam reviews? This is great new content. More Superboy reviews. Door doesn't open. Good review.
Okay, let's see what this one says. While the idea for the game is good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley, I'm not preachy, am I? You can tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can. Oh, goodness. This is actually quite shocking for me. Well, to be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it did. But maybe it wasn't. Oh, dear. What an awful memory to have to hold on to. These black marks on my otherwise unimpeachable track record. I feel like a failure. Like I let these people down. Perhaps the Stanley parable isn't quite as sterling as I always remembered. What's this one got to say? You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button. A skip button? Well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley parable. That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have.
Okay.
And here it is. Go ahead and give it... Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of unnecessary verbal flourishes and lengthy ruminations on the Well, there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But that's the power of the button. The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption, it's... Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45 minutes? It's not... Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours. You've just been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're really, truly getting longer in my... Oh, Stanley, you're back. You're back. Oh, my goodness. I have someone to talk to again. Stanley, I think it's been a week.
Make it a
2
month.
weeks. I've been sitting here. Oh, hello. It's you. You're here again. Welcome. I have had time to think about you and about us and about everything we've been...
Am I being too mean to the narrator? I feel like I might be. He might have just left. Narrator? Fire.
But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed their teeth and said... The
skip button's not coming back. Now, why if I just kind of go around back here? I may have made a mistake.
The end is never the end, 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 is never...
I don't think he's doing too okay. Oh, water's coming in. Fun. Yeah, we'll go to the next button. Okay, this doesn't seem too good. Hit the button again. Ah, daylight. I can see. I want the narrator back. Ooh. Ah, nature. narrator has become a new worker for National Geographic. I was about to go full Halo there for a minute. I'm scared. We're sideways. Future! We're not trying to escape. We're just gonna start walking. Maybe I can find the narrator again. Is what Squidward feels like? I don't know how far I'm supposed to be able to walk. This is a massive desert. Oh. Pay no attention to that. It was simply an audio glitch. Okay, so I've been recording for about an hour now, so that's gonna be it for this episode. Part 1 of the Stanley Parable. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Let me know down in the comments if I miss anything, and have a good one. Adios.